We've arrived at the point of Jesus' public ministry where things are coming to a head. That is to say, he's about to enter into Jerusalem, about to accomplish the mission that had been entrusted to him by his Father. The scene that we have before us this evening involves two of the 12, James and John. Actually, James, John, and Peter were kind of a little inner circle amongst the 12. These just had a certain importance amongst the 12. But it's James and John who, by the way, their nicknames are the Sons of Thunder. That was how they were referred to, as the Sons of Thunder. And they sort of play off of that, I think, in this scene because, just think about it. They go up to Jesus and they say, they don't sort of present a gentle request. Jesus, if you will, you would. No. What do they say? We would. What do you say? Do what it is that we want you to do. That's basically what they say. And what they want him to do is to make sure that they have the privileged places at his left and his right when Jesus enters into his kingdom. In other words, they are very, very intent upon securing their place, their privileged place. Now, we'll talk about how they understood the kingdom, the mission that Jesus is about to accomplish in a moment, but the way in which Jesus responds to them is actually, it's just straightforward. He doesn't chastise them for the arrogance of their question or their demand, really, their ultimatum. Doesn't chastise them. He basically says two things. He asks a couple of questions. He says, first of all, Jesus says, I can't be the one to assign these places. That's only something that my Father in heaven is able to do. That's his prerogative. That's the first thing he says. The second thing he says, there's a couple of questions actually. He says to them, Are you ready to drink of the cup that I am going to drink? And the second question is, are you ready to experience he calls the baptism that I am about to undergo? The cup and the baptism here clearly are images of the suffering that Jesus is about to experience in his life at the end of his journey here, and that's he's asking them if they're ready to do that. Now they say yes, we're ready. Now do they say that because they're hell bent on getting into those privileged places, so they're going to give the right answer? Because it's not clear at this point that they know what this kingdom is about. In fact, it's really likely that what James and John thought about the kingdom, they thought that this would be the victory that Jesus would win over the oppressive powers of the Roman occupation of Israel. That he would be a military Messiah who would restore the glory of Israel. And that's how it makes sense to say, okay, I want to be at your left and your right when this kingdom is established. Alas, Jesus says something entirely different than that. What does he say? What's this kingdom going to be? Well, he's going to accomplish his mission not by overcoming the power of his enemies, by greater power and authority, etc. He's going to accomplish his mission by handing over his life in love for these disciples, but for all of humanity. That his suffering will be the way in which will be the path by which he will give new life to his people. All of that, of course, upends, it turns upside down the wisdom of the world, which in fact does tell us that in order to get ahead, we need power, we need authority, we need to we need to take advantage of others so that we might secure our place. And it's clear from what Jesus is teaching here that the last thing he's interested in is for people to be securing their place. He's interested in that they will follow him to the very end. They will follow his way of sacrificial love to the very end. And that's how the kingdom will be made present in our world. Let's just say a word about this with respect to an Assumption education, if I could, just for a second. Sometimes I think we have, in our frame of mind, we can think of the purpose of our education is precisely to eventually secure our place in the world. There's nothing particularly wrong about that. As I say, we want to make sure that we have, what we need, and we need the security of a good job, etc. But an Assumption education can't be exhausted by securing or the aim of securing our place. An Assumption education, instead of being the encouraging a kind of careful planning out of our life, it really encourages us to a kind of how would I put this? To open ourselves up to the mystery of God's working in our lives. What does that mean? It means that to the extent to which we open ourselves up to the promptings of God, we follow Jesus in the way of sacrificial love, we will very likely be brought to places that none of our planning could possibly have anticipated, but will be, in fact, by virtue of the fact that it is the very gift of the kingdom that Jesus gives to us. It will be the source of I think, far greater life than all of the planning that we might do. So the truth that we speak of at Assumption, we say we seek the truth in the company of friends. The truth for us is a person. It's a person. The truth has a name. The truth has a face. The truth is Jesus Christ. And we see this in the back here, the chapel above the organ pipes. Until Christ be formed in you. That is the motto of Assumption College. That is what we desire that our students will in the course of their 4 years, draw closer to Christ, draw closer to the mystery of God's love, and be prepared not to plan out their life to the nth degree, but be prepared to allow God to work in the way that God desires to work in our lives. Let's pray for that grace.